Lewis and the Cardinals have been all smiles in 2004. They lead the division by 13 games. A reason why: the offense, led by the red-hot center fielder, Jim Edmonds. You always get good numbers out of number 5, Albert Pujols. And the defense and hustle of Scott Rowland. It could be a postseason matchup tonight as the Cardinals take on the Atlanta Braves. And Bobby Cox, Braves in a familiar spot in first place. It's coming up next. Cardinals baseball on FSN Midwest. Two of the best teams in the National League. A playoff preview possibly tonight. Cardinals with the best record in the NL will take on the Braves in Game 1 from Turner Field. You talk about the Braves, you talk about pitching, and you talk about a constant here for the last decade plus. That's John Smoltz, their closer. They are best in the National League. Meanwhile, Scott Rowland and the Cardinals collectively as a team. Take off your hat, Scott. Thank you. Batting best in the National League at .278. With my partner Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Welcome to Turner Field in Atlanta in Game 1 of this 3-game series between the Cards and the Braves. You take a look at these two teams. I think this weekend's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. The fans are going to see a preview of what we think is going to be postseason action. Two outstanding ball clubs, probably the two biggest surprises in the National League. Neither one of them are supposed to be where they are, but they're very good ball clubs.
When you think about these two teams since the All-Star break, they are both 20-6, so the two best records in the National League since the break. They have very good pitching on both sides as well, including a good matchup tonight. Let's take a look at the Ford Key matchup. And for the Cardinals, Woody Williams, very good numbers in his career against Atlanta. He'll take on Paul Byrd.
Woody, since coming to the Cardinals, just been outstanding. He won his 100th ball game in San Francisco. Paul Byrd had the Tommy John surgery a year ago. He only is making his 10th start of the season this year. But, you know, he's fallen right in with all these Atlanta Braves pitchers, you know, down and away, down and away.
Well, the Cardinals lead the division because Chicago lost again today by 13 games. The Braves in a familiar spot. They lead it by 7, their biggest lead of the year. Turner Field is the scene. Big trade by both these teams in the offseason. Drew to Atlanta. That has paid off. He leads their team in home runs and RBIs. Cardinals got bullpen help and a starter in Marquis, and that man raking. Cardinals baseball. Now, you touched upon this during our open. This crowd is lively tonight. This used to be Cardinal country down here, and a lot of Cardinal fans in attendance tonight.
And yet I'm really shocked that it's not packed. I think Tony La Russa's ready to see this matchup. The Cardinals matched up in early May and won 2 out of 3. Paul Byrd will take the mound. It's his 10th start of the year. He had Tommy John surgery July 1st, 2003. And one thing to think about, the Cardinals have loaded their lineup with left-handed batters. Left-handers are hitting .327 against Paul Byrd. Right-handers a paltry .162.
The Braves are 65-48. Cardinals come in with the best record at 74-39. Mid-August, you're expecting hot temperatures here in Dixie, but it is just gorgeous here in Atlanta. Perfect. Let's look at Tony's lineup. Tony Womack will lead things off, the second baseman. Then Walker, Pujols, and Rowland. Edmonds, Renteria, John Mabry, Mike Matheny, and Woody Williams. On the mound for the Cardinals, Woody trying to pick up win number 9. And the first pitch is a strike, low and away at 7:36 here in Atlanta.
I wonder how many times you're going to say that. Low and away. Leo Massoni, pitching coach, preaches that.
Paul Byrd has got that old time wind up and motion towards the plate. All kinds of things are going on when he delivers that baseball.
That's the most intimidating wind up going. At least the one we've seen tonight.
It's up and away, 2 balls and a strike. Had a chance to visit with Leo Mazzoni for an extensive period of time tonight prior to the game, and boy, he was all excited and charged up as always about this series, about facing the Cardinals, and about Greg Maddux. Picked up win number 300 the other day.
They you know, sense a lot of pride in that. And Greg Maddux earned all 300 of those wins, but he picked up what, 3 Cy Youngs under Leo's tutelage, and a lot of those wins right here, but they really respect him.
Little chopper, Chipper Jones across the diamond. That's the first out. That's how we start the ball game. Auto Tire defense. Thomas, Jones, and Drew in the outfield. Then Jones for Kyle. Giles, LaRoche, and Estrada is behind the plate. The Auto Tire defense for the Atlanta Braves.
Remember, Chipper Jones started in left field, but he had that torn hamstring, a partial tear there, so they had to move him back to the infield.
Here's Larry Walker. First pitch, a ball. Chipper has bounced around all over the place from right to left. Actually played a little first base, but settling back in at third. Injury plagued season and not very good numbers offensively. 1 ball, 1 strike on Walker.
Bobby Cox was saying he's playing the best third base he's ever seen him. And now with Thomas out there joining Andruw Jones and J.D. Drew, they say this is an unbelievably great defensive line, outfield.
Walker, a check swing. Did he go? No. 2-1 is the count. And don't forget about Eli Marrero, who can play all 3 outfield positions as well.
He's pretty much settled in a platoon with Thomas.
And Charles Thomas has been a nice find for the Braves out and left. A 2-1 pitch to Walker, and it hit him. So a 1-out base runner for St. Louis as Walker reaches, hit by pitch, and it brings an Albert Pujols.
Gets him easy for me to say glancing blow on the kneecap, but appears to be okay. He's had trouble with those knees in the past, as well as elbows and shoulders. Groin this year.
That was the big problem with Walker, the groin injury that he had. Now it's Albert Pujols. Walker is running, got a great jump, and it's his 3rd stolen base as a Cardinal.
How about that? He's 5 for 5 in steals, and already he's got 3 of them as a Cardinal. So you put him in the 2nd spot. It's his job to get on base.
Got a great jump.
And, well, he's a great base runner. And sometimes people look at him and they kind of forget about him, that at one time he consistently stole bases. And now, you know, where he's hitting in the lineup, he's changed his tactics.
Pujols was 3 for 12 against the Marlins in that just completed series, in which the Cardinals took 2 of 3. They're going to stay low and away and away and away from Mr. Pujols.
And they throw inside just enough to keep you honest, but they live on the outside part of the plate.
A .340 average for Pujols with 7 home runs with runners in scoring position. Ahead in the count here, 2 balls and no strikes. Scott Rowland on deck. And if you're the Atlanta Braves and looking at this lineup, it's pick your poison that we've talked about. You've got Walker out there at second base, but then it's Pujols. If you don't want to deal with him, you've got first base open, so then you deal with Scott Rowland, 98 RBIs. And after that, the hottest hitter in this lineup, Jim Edmonds.
There's still a lot of the Cardinal players are convinced.
Oh, there's a base hit into right. Right over the middle of the plate. They're not going to test J.D. out there in right. Strong throw. So 1st and 3rd. And an RBI opportunity for Scott Rowland. Boy, this pitch was sitting on a tee for Albert Pujols.
Well, that's what you have to do. If you're going to face these guys, predominantly they're going to go away. So you've got to go with the pitch. And you see it's up a little bit. So instead of going away, it's running in on him, but he uses his hand to perfection. Inside out swing. Walker knows he's going to come around here hard. He's ultimately stopped by Oquendo with nobody, or with just the 1 out.
Good move.
And Rowland coming up. And J.D. was very shallow, and he has that strong throwing arm, and it was good to see him use it.
It's one of the best throws we've seen the last couple of years out of J.D. Runners at the corners. And J.D. Drew very well could have been an all-star this year, probably should have been. Strike 1 on Scott Rowland with 98 RBIs, just 2 ahead of Castilla. And Burnitz of Colorado with 86. So 2 shy of the century mark. And a check on Albert over there at first base. Rowland's numbers: .332, 26 homers, 98 RBIs.
0 for his last 8. He was 0 for Florida.
0-1 pitch. Pop foul out of play.
Still has 18 RBIs his last 23 games, and 16 game-winning RBIs, are first in the National League.
Defense is very deep. You see the left fielder, Charles Thomas, just in front of the track out there and left.
Andrew Jones shades him to right.
That's a product of always pitching outside.
Correct.
And Rolen lines it into the seats. Spoils that 0-2 pitch.
Just asked Mike Riley, the home plate umpire, if it was a strike, and he nodded affirmatively.
Runners at first and third. Walker was hit by a pitch, stole a base. Pujols with a single to right. 0-2 the count on Scott Rolen. Again, they set up on the outside corner. Mislocation on the inside corner, but spoiled there by Scott Rolen. And a beer or a soda just splashed all over a fan.
I think people would be shocked if they really looked at how frequently location is missed. Most of the time on home run pitches, the location is missed, but there is a certain percentage of times you get away with it. There you go. A little beer shampoo, right?
That's what happens. Those foul balls. The 0-2 pitch. Rolen strikes out. So it's going to take a 2-out hit by Edmonds. Now this is something that's been a little disturbing the last couple of games. Cardinals have had numerous opportunities, in particular early in ball games, to take leads and have not. Let's hope that's not the case here. 2 outs, first and third now for Edmonds.
And that pitch was pretty much down the middle of the plate. I asked Edmonds if he likes hitting in this ballpark. He said no, and he really finds it troublesome that there's no outfield lights. And I guess that is an indication of that. Scott Rolen said, he goes, I'm not too crazy about it. As a Cardinal, he said, I've never hit well here.
Just saw those numbers with Edmonds. 0-93, strike one on Jimmy.
Especially when you got something in your eye, it makes it even more difficult.
Keeps fiddling with that eye. Doing that even before he stepped in. He was doing that on deck. Edmonds pops it up left side. Playable. Chipper. Cardinals strand 2. Paul Bird pitches out of an early jam. Bottom of the first coming up from Turner Field. His auto parts starter for the Cardinals is Woody Williams.
Well, Woody's really doing a good job of late. He's 5-0 with an ERA of 2.73 in his last 10 starts. Opponents are just batting .199 against him. He's won 5 straight decisions, 7 of 8. The Cardinals have won each of his last 10 and 12 of his last 13. He's 0-1 in 2 starts here at Turner Field with an ERA of 3.12.
It's been an amazing story for Bobby Cox and the Braves in the midst of their 13th straight division title possibly. His lineup reads like this for Kyle Giles and Drew here in the first. Then Chipper Jones, Estrada, Andrew Jones, Adam LaRoche, Charles Thomas, and Paul Bird. This guy is a catalyst at the top of their order. Rafael Furcal looks at a strike from Woody Williams. Woody has been much better as of late. And if he continues to pitch like this, you have to take a hard look at where you might put him in that postseason roster as far as the rotation is concerned. A play for Rolen, 1 out. Cardinals defense brought to you by Auto Tire. 1 out and no score here in the bottom of the first. Mabry, Edmonds, Walker in the outfield. Rolen, Renteria, Womack, and Pujols on the infield. Gold Glover, Mike Matheny behind the plate. Cardinal fans all over the place. We'll be showing you those fans tonight. Ground ball up the middle and a base hit. It's almost like having 2 leadoff men at the first and second spot in this order for Atlanta. Marcus Giles is another one that's a catalyst for this team.
He's really helped out now that he's come back to the active roster. He was out for an extended period of time, and their interior defense suffered. Cardinals defense is much better than the Atlanta Braves, but You know, they have guys that are very capable defensively, like JD.
JD Drew is homered in the last 2 games for Atlanta. It's 26 on the year. Strike 1 from Woody Williams. He's also chipped in with a team high 69 RBIs.
Always fascinating to watch how the Cardinal pitchers attack JD, but he's a little different. He told you in the open about his healthy knee, because now they say he's hitting to all fields. Remember, he just tried to pull everything.
Just outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Good fastball hitter. Always wanted to pull the fastball, not trust his hands.
I'm happy for JD. He's a good guy.
Well, you know what? That was an old-fashioned baseball trade. And what I mean by that is it was a trade where John Schuerholz and Walt Jockey, you know, the Braves had extra pitching. The Cardinals had surplus in hitting. And they made a trade that benefited both ball clubs. Instead of trying to go out there and you know, take advantage of the other guy, you better work with you know, your strengths to strengthen them.
Just got a piece. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, Mike got a piece too.
Geico Direct moment. If he gets healthy and stays healthy, he'll produce. He's got all the talent that you need. I'm pulling for him, except this weekend. Tony La Russa talking about JD Drew.
JD's very happy down here, relaxed, and Mike Matheny needed a little extra time.
Mike and JD were very close in St. Louis.
Well, I don't think he likes him right now. Don't laugh, JD.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Giles a threat to steal as the runner at first base. I think about starting the runner here. What do you think of the same thing?
Giles has 11 steals and 14 attempts. Pitcher keeps him close, gives Mike Matheny a chance. You know, more times than not, Mike's going to throw him out.
Ooh, just missed on the outside corner. Full count now with Drew. We'll see Giles off with this pitch. JD Drew, now wearing that Braves uniform, lives about an hour outside of Atlanta. There goes Giles, swing and a miss, and a throw down his second. Strike him out, throw him out. Second inning is coming up from Turner Field in Atlanta.
You're watching Fox Sports Net.
Top of the second, Mike Matheny gunning down Giles, and a double play to end the first.
Giles looking in. He didn't really look like he was, you know, I mean, he's running, but I always like it when they think about trying to steal instead of just trying to protect. And then when your contact is not made, you have a chance to be safe. Looking in like that, not running hard all the way, trying to steal it, you know, you run blindly. You got to look in, guard against a line drive double play, but you're going to be doubled up anyway.
Cardinals will have here in the second Renteria, the shortstop, Mabry, who's been terrific for the Cardinals since being called up, and Mike Matheny. There's something you cannot overlook is the contribution of the man on deck, John Mabry. The windup from Paul Bird, and the first pitch to Edgar is a strike.
Paul Bird gets that tailing action, but unlike a Maddox who starts it outside and tails right to the corner, he starts it maybe in the strike zone and tails it in the middle.
Does it make you nervous? The article by Joe Strauss talking about Renteria and his future with the club, taking the contract negotiations out of the way and waiting till after the season.
Yes.
Me too. I want to see this guy in the fold for a long time.
And I know the Atlanta Braves, and John Schuerholz told me that he was one of the first to initiate conversations with Colorado for Larry Walker.
Right.
But when they saw the amount of money that Walker was due, you know, he said, we can't do it because it would eliminate us trying to automatically re-signing, say, J.D. Drew and some of their other potential free agents.
They did try to move Andrew Jones. There was a talk of Maglio Ordonez from the White Sox to Atlanta. Andrew Jones would then head to the Chicago White Sox, but that fell through. It looks like Ordonez is done for the year.
Talking with Jim Fregosi, I was led to believe that some of that was just trying to light fire under some Atlanta Braves players. And he said he knew because he's the one that spread the thought that these guys, a couple guys, were available.
Well, think about this. They are coming into play tonight 17 games above 500, which is a season best for Atlanta. In 43 games since June 23rd, the Braves are 33-10. They've gone from 6 games under to 17 over. High strike on the outside corner to John Mabry. 2-1.
Atlanta Braves pitchers start getting outside parts of the plate. You can make a tough day for the Cardinal hitters. Bobby Cox has done a great job.
Mabry high in the air, right center field. Drew is back, and he makes the play. 2 outs. Tuesday night coming up at the ballpark. AMC Theaters and the Cardinals are teaming up to bring all fans 15 and under with a paid admission and action photo of Mr. Pujols. Attached to the photo is a coupon for free small popcorn at AMC Theaters. Tuesday the 17th, you can also take advantage of the MasterCard Grand Slam ticket pack. Number to call is 421-3060 or always on the web at stlcardinals.com. 2 outs. Here's Matheny. There was also talk that if Jones would be shipped out of here, J.D. Drew would be your everyday center fielder for the Braves. They love his defense in right. And J.D. is shading towards the line in right field with Mike Matheny. 1 ball, 1 strike at the plate. Room into left center field. Matheny is swinging a miss. 1-2.
Paul Bird, the way some of these guys are swinging, look like he's throwing about 98, and yet some of these are like 87.
Mike is 0 for his last 12. In the hole here with a ball and 2 strikes, and Woody Williams on deck. Got him. 3 strikeouts for Bird. Matheny didn't like it. Good defense out there in right center field from the former Cardinal J.D. for out number 2. And a strikeout of Matheny. Little up and in. But Bird got Johnny Estrada and Andrew Jones for Atlanta. Paul Bird, not known as a strikeout pitcher, already with 3 in the first 2 innings. Jones chases a high delivery. Fouls it back. He's been much better as of late, closing in on 1,000 RBIs for his career. He's only 4 away since the All-Star break. Leads the club in RBIs and has hit 297. But look at that, overall only at 238. A ball and a strike on Chipper.
Had a 5-game hitting streak stopped on Tuesday night. He was 10 for 21 during that time. 0 for his last 8. And you know, Danny, the way you see these good hitters swinging and missing, you know, it's sort of dusk here and the lights have not really taken effect, and Jim Edmonds says it's very dark here with no lights in the outfield. There are banks behind, but you just wonder if everyone's having a little trouble seeing early in the game.
2-2 as the count on Jones came up with Atlanta. Just played in 8 games back in '93. There's what you're talking about.
Lights haven't taken effect. It's not really dark yet.
Shallow right field. Who wants it? Womack makes the play as Walker was coming on. Nicely done from Tony Womack. That's a tough play for the second baseman to make. Long way to go.
Well, you, as a infielder, you go back on a ball and don't give up until you're called off by the outfielders. And Edmonds gave up. You see Walker pull up, knowing that that's a tough play, and we'll let the
We'll let Tony have it. We got all the gold gloves. We don't want to get hurt.
2 years ago, the Braves sent Kevin Millwood to Philadelphia for this guy, Johnny Estrada. That deal left Atlanta fans scratching their heads. Now they're thinking, what a great steal.
Well, I asked John Schuerholz, general manager, so what's your biggest surprise this year? And he said Estrada, the way he's hit. He's a switch hitter. There's John Schuerholz. Boy, since he's been here, you know, he and Bobby Cox have clicked pretty well. They have done an outstanding job. You know what his record is? From 91 to 2004, the Braves own 1,310 victories, 841, a .609 record. Unprecedented 12 straight division titles, 14th season for Schuerholz.
Began back in 1991. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 91, 92, 93, 95. The champs. On and on and on. And it's not like they've had the same core every single year. Now, they did have Glavine and Maddox, Millwood. Avery was good for a while. John Smoltz. But Smoltz is the only guy left from all the way back in 1991.
He's the only one. They've averaged 10 players, you know, have left the club.
Larry Walker there for the second out.
Each year. And John Schuerholz said, and I asked him about, is this the best job that Bobby Cox has done? And he said, no, it's tied for first with several others. But he said, this team is a remake. And he said, I think in many ways it's much like the 91 ball club, where we really kind of remade the style of this club.
Guys like John Thompson and Russ Ortiz, we'll see them in this series. Jarrett Wright, who was terrific in Cleveland when he first came up, is now 11-5 after the Braves beat Ben Sheets last night.
You know what the Hampton, Wright, and Ortiz were in July? 14-0, 1.87 ERA. They never had that. Was Smoltz, Glavine, and Maddox never had a month of July like that, and some of these guys have carried it right over.
Isn't that hard to believe? Those great pitchers, yeah. Hall of Famers, and then those three do it.
They never had an undefeated month, and I think the most they ever had was like 11 wins.
1-2 the count on Jones. First 2 pitches looked to be right over the middle, fastballs, and he was tardy on those swings. Tardy again. These guys must not be picking the ball up at all. A strikeout for Woody, his second. We're at Turner Field in Atlanta. Glad you're with us on FSN Midwest. This day in baseball history brought to you by Schnucks. Lou Brock, the Hall of Famer, collects hit number 3000, August 13th, 1979. Also some other history here at the ballpark. The all-time winningest left-hander in baseball history, Warren Spahn. They wear that patch number 21 to remember Mr. Spahn. Statue outside this ballpark. Holds about 9 different records in the Braves organization, whether it be with Boston or Milwaukee Braves organizations.
363 wins.
Woody on the first pitch. High fly ball to J.D. Drew. 1 pitch, 1 out.
I had Spahny as a manager at Tulsa in the Cardinal organization.
You can play cards with the cards. It's the first 25,000 fans with a paid admission receive a Cardinals playing cards courtesy of the Casino Queen. You log on to STLCardinals.com or call 421-3060. That will be the split doubleheader game Friday, August 20th, the second game of the 2. That will be a 7:10 first pitch, and good seats still available for both those games. So come on down to the ballpark. If not, you can join us for both games here on FSN Midwest. Back to the top of the order. Let's see if the Cardinals can do some damage second time through. Womack chopped it to Chipper Jones his first time up. Tony's production at the top of the order has been down a little bit since the start of the second half.
1 for 9 in the Florida series, 0 for his last 5.
Drew coming on. Drops for a hit. Git buys it. Now it's Tony Womack stopping at second base. So base hit, and Womack winds up at second with 1 out.
A little clunker out there, and I was surprised it went as far as it did. JD tries to slide, knock it down. It gets by him, but he retreats after it, and a strong throwing arm. Tony Womack wasn't going to challenge it. He wasn't running hard out of the box. So if he was running hard out of the box, he should have been on third base.
Here's Larry Walker. Good effort out there from JD Drew with 1 out. Bird from the stretch. Walker looks at a strike on the outside corner. It wasn't just Atlanta that had interest in Larry Walker. A few years ago, the Diamondbacks tried to trade their third baseman at the time.
Well, he turned down trades to Texas and Florida this year.
Right. Larry was hit by a pitch his first time up, then stole a base, left stranded at third. Cardinals had a good opportunity back in the first with runners at first and third and just 1 out. Walker with his first Cardinal home run yesterday. A little chopper. Estrada on a fair ball.
Come on.
2 outs. And it brings in Albert Pujols. Womack advancing to third. Pujols with a single to right on a 3-0 pitch his first time up.
You know, Danny, you talked about the old-fashioned windup, the windmill windup from the straightaway, but when he's in the stretch, Paul Bird is a little unorthodox, and I think it's part of the deception, which gives you that sneaky fastball. He'll go back to the old-fashioned windmill windup, but we'll talk about it next time we see him in a stretch situation.
Pujols pops it foul. The long windup like that, you can do some damage with a runner at third base. Now with a guy like Pujols, you're going to let him swing away, but
you know what? You just look at right now. Look at Tony Womack talking to
swipe it
to Oquendo, and I think, you know, I'm not sure you're going to do it with Albert Pujols.
But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, when the right conditions, you know, you get a big lead, especially the third baseman is not paying any attention to him.
And he's not even watching.
Now,
no, he thought about it.
Yeah, he did.
And Pujols drills it into deep center field. Jones going back at the track and makes the play against the wall. Albert gave it a ride, but Andruw Jones, Gold Glover out there, hauled it in. Cardinals strand their third of the night. No score, middle of the third.
Let's take a look at the stretch on the left and the windup, the full windup on the right. And a lot of people think you throw harder from the windup, but all that is going absolutely backwards. You're not doing anything until right now is when you sit on that back leg and you start driving forward. So in theory, you should have the same velocity from a stretch as you do as a windup.
Adam LaRoche, first baseman, a swing and a miss. Braves' only hit has been Marcus Giles back in the first. And he was caught stealing, part of a double play to end the inning. LaRoche batting .253. They got the ageless Julio Franco in that dugout. He's still in remarkable shape.
Oh, he's in great shape, and he is going to turn 46. He'll admit to 46 on August 23rd. There he is. There's my buddy. Asked. He was sitting with Bobby Cox. I said, which one of you two are older?
And their response?
Bobby pointed to Franco, and Franco laughed.
1-2 the count.
He changed this up.
A check swing did not go around. 2-2.
Adam's father was a big league pitcher and reliever, and a good one. And now he's working with the Kansas City organization, pitching coach at Omaha.
Charles Thomas on deck, then the pitcher. The 2-2 pitch. Pop foul out of play as Turner Field is filled up a little bit. Not a bad crowd, and what a gorgeous night for baseball. Just perfect. Cardinals will play in the game of the week tomorrow on Fox. KTVI Channel 2 back home. Now Raboski will be on that game. Curveball. And a foul ball. Who are you working with tomorrow?
Josh Lewin.
Well, good luck. Enjoy it. Have fun.
I will.
I'll be tuned in. The 2-2 pitch.
Adam became the first nationally rookie and just the fourth in Major League history to get his first 2 hits in the same inning during his Major League debut.
He's got a sweet swing.
Yep. We've heard his name quite a few times through their minor league system, waiting for him to get up here.
Full count.
Missed 31 games when he separated his left shoulder in a collision at home plate with Mike Lieberthal.
This one is popped up left side. Renteria going out. Mabry coming in. And John's got it. That's the first out.
You watch Woody Williams, a veteran, will expose a rookie. So you see him very erect, and then he kind of loads up on the backside, gets his weight coming forward, and then he gets jammed on the pitch up and in. Well, it's really kind of a looping swing. I thought it was more above the hands, but he just drops a bat head and popped it up.
There's a base hit into right, drops in front of Larry Walker. Charles Thomas. Boy, they're really pleased what they've gotten out of Thomas. Playing with confidence.
A rarity there that he gets a base hit with nobody on. He usually does his damage with people on, but he was the 4th outfielder. He was really not even considered a prospect, and started this year where his manager said, I'm going to get you more playing time. I've always liked you, get you more playing time, and he took advantage of it when some guys got hurt.
Bird a chopper. How about a double play? Renteria will take it himself. That's one. They can't turn 2. Ozzy-like out there at second base, popping over the base runner.
But Paul Bird has
he was moving pretty
good
well down the
wheels.
line.
Yeah. He was, by trying to be an athlete here, Renteria has to wait for it, takes time, steps on the bag, goes up the elevator, and Paul Bird wasn't even close over there. He was running and hustling all the way.
Brings in Rafael Furcal.
Paul Bird is 33 years of age.
Former All-Star. Been with the Mets, Kansas City, now the Braves. The more you see this guy, the more you like him, Al. Rafael Furcal may have the best arm in baseball. Little bitty guy, but he's got a cannon for an arm. Very good leadoff man, too. Pop to third his first time up. Bird will advance to second. Wild pitch.
It's his 10th wild pitch of the season for Woody Williams.
That doesn't sound like Woody's type of numbers. Control pitcher.
And a circle change. And right at the feet of a left-hander, and it's really a tough shift for a catcher. It seems like these pitchers always do it on the left-handed batters.
2-0 on Furcal. Foul ball. Cubs lose again. They're trying to get in via the wild card.
And with got San Diego. He's got a big lead, 8-1 at Cincinnati. They could end up in a tie, couldn't they?
Yep.
The wild card race.
2-1 pitch. Curveball. Strike as Furcal spins away. Cardinals will more than likely start Danny Herron on Sunday. Tony La Russa saying, quote, if Carpenter comes in tomorrow doing backflips, we might look at him doing the start on Sunday. It's going to be Danny Herron. And I talked to Danny the other day. He said maxed out, Al, because he has not been pitching in a starting rotation role up here. He feels 80 pitches is probably all he can get through. We'll have to wait and see on Sunday night.
Why would you even worry about that? Why would you even put a negative thought in your mind? Go out there and go as long and hard as you can.
Pujols stays down. He'll flip to Woody covering over at first. And the Braves strand a man. They're first on the night. We enter the fourth. Rolen, Edmonds, and Renteria coming up. Fourth, Cardinals will have Rolen, Edmonds, and Renteria coming up.
Hey, Danny, you know, a lot of times we talk about that pitchers today aren't deceptive. Watch the left arm of Woody Williams. So he gets it out there, but then he tucks it so a hitter can really kind of see the release point. When you have a deceptive delivery, a lot of times a guy will take that glove hand and he throws it towards the hitter, and they watch that. Now watch here. He kind of gets it out there, but he tucks it. And you know, all these guys try to get in better fielding positions, but they lose that ability to kind of be deceptive to the hitter. They see you know, you're not using that glove to throw it at a hitter's vantage point where he sees that, and then all of a sudden the release point follows and he picks it up in mid-flight. I understand, you know, guys are concerned about getting in good fielding position, but I think first and foremost, maximum effort delivering to the plate. A guy named Bob Gibson had a pretty violent. Now watch, see how he tucks. He's deceptive, and that's another reason why. Because when he tucks like that, you don't see the release point. The body kind of gets in the way, and then all of a sudden, as you're watching the body a little bit, follow what I'm saying is when he winds up, but then he'll tuck down and then he hides the release point. You get the body kind of going one way and you don't pick up the release until it's already on top of you. That's another reason why he's that sneaky fast.
And that's why we've seen 3 strikeouts and guys looking late on pitches tonight. Very well could be the answer. The 2-1. This is outside Scott Rolen. Cardinals had first and third back in the first, and Rolen with 1 out struck out, then Edmonds popped out. It's been the best scoring chance for either side.
Now the lights are starting to take effect, and we'll see if the offense increases.
The 3-1 to Scott Rolen. This is outside. Leadoff walk. So Bird has hit a man, and now he walks one. We'll see him work for Atlanta from the stretch.
See the windup one more time, but you see how he will bend over and then he tucks that arm behind him, so you don't, when he releases the ball, you kind of, you know, it's kind of like behind his head a little bit, short arming the ball, and you don't really see it until it releases his hand. And from here now he bends over, and it's a little that, you know, it's the same thing, a little deception.
One thing I love about watching Edmonds right now is the fact that he's taking pitches. Walks have increased. He's walked 16 times in the last 9 games. You can just tell when he's locked in, and right now he's locked in.
And hitting .439 in those last 11 games.
Oof, good cut. Nothing into the count.
That's just 89 miles an hour. But he's throwing it by guys where they're thinking it's 95.
Average back under 300 at 299. No 2 pitch. It's another thing. Edmonds has not been chasing those high strikes and giving away at bats. It's one of the problems that the Cardinals have talked about in his career since he got here in 2000. The fact that he will give away at bats. He might be the most talented guy on the team.
And you could really accentuate that point when he's faced left-handers. This year he's hitting .329 against left-handed pitching, only .293. But at times if a guy got 1 pitch by him, sometimes he just, like you said, just waved off the next 2.
2-2 is the count. After Edmonds, it's the shortstop Renteria. wide stance, but I don't think he's quite as crouched as we have seen him in the past. A little bit more erect at the plate.
He starts wide stance, then he loads up on the backside, and because of his ability to drive the ball the opposite field, you know, a lot like we talked with Pujols, has that ability to hit the ball deep into his stance, and that's why he can hit it to the opposite field and hit it out of the ballpark.
Room into right center field for Edmonds. The left fielder is deep. That's Thomas.
They say he can go get him, but the way he's playing, he looks like he's trying to get him in the stands.
I mean, that's the opposite field there, just in front of the track. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. After leadoff walk to Scott Rowland. There's a good look right there.
That's deep for a right-handed power hitter, and playing fairly close to the left field line.
The 2-2 pitch. Edmonds rips it into left center field. That gets down. Rowland is going to test Andruw Jones. No throw to third. And it's first and third. Nobody out for the Redbirds. Good piece of hitting there by Jim Edmonds.
Just like we talked about, his ability to go to the opposite field. They had the outfield so spread out. He hit it where they weren't. So you got that sinking action, but boy, he stays right down on this ball, stays behind the ball, and just shoots it over the shortstop and never gets to the wall. Scott Rowland, sore knee and all, can take advantage of an outfielder that they consider to be, many people consider to be the best outfielder in the National League. And they have a lot of throwing. They have 29 outfield assists.
Edgar didn't like the call on strike 1. A little inside, maybe a little high as well. He struck out. Back in the second inning, 0 for 1. Runners at first and third, nobody out. Chipper Jones is even with the bag at third. They hold the runner at first. Charles Thomas in left, still deep. Edgar with a high fly ball to the opposite field. On the move, J.D. Drew, plenty deep to score the run. Rowland will come in, and the Cardinals lead it 1-0 on Renteria's 51st RBI.
Renteria is down there in an RBI spot, and not somebody else because of the walker.
Remind you that we return home after this road trip through Atlanta and Cincinnati coming to St. Louis. Monday night will come your way at 6:30 here on FSN Midwest with Cardinals tonight. The Reds without Ken Griffey Jr. done for the season, which is truly unfortunate for baseball fans. Such a great talent. You think about back in 2000, Cardinals got Edmonds, Reds got Griffey, all the fanfare with Cincinnati, all the predictions said Reds are going to win that division, and the best of that deal, you compare the two, has gone to St. Louis because Edmonds has been unbelievable.
Well, and it's not fair to compare because of the injuries, which have all been as a result of playing hard.
Giants tonight announced they have released Nefi Perez. He's in a 1 for 19 slide. It's a guy that Jose Oquendo really liked in winter ball. Had a chance to see him a couple of years ago. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out for John Mabry.
You know, we all want to see Renteria, but there's another insurance policy too.
Yep. Chipper is even with the bag at third base. Mabry pops it foul out of play. A 3-hit day yesterday for John. Woody has a lead of 1-0 now. Mabry was called up. The Cardinals took off. John hasn't seen many losses this year. Andrew Jones in center. 2 outs. Mabry 0 for 2, and it brings in Mike Matheny. The Cubs lose at home to Los Angeles 8-1. Only final in baseball this far. Two outs. Here's the Cardinal catcher, Mike Matheny. Struck out looking back in the second. Inning started with a walk to Scott Rowland. Base hit by Edmonds. And a heads-up play from Rowland, going from first to third. Didn't even think twice about it. Count of 1 ball, 1 strike on Matheny.
You look at little things like that, and
that's right.
You know, if he doesn't go first to third, we're still playing a scoreless game.
And it atones for having first and third and 1 out for Scott Rowland, in which he struck out in that situation back in the first. Bird is worried about Edmonds, about the 6th time he's thrown over. Mike is hitting .245 on the year. Broken bat and a foul ball. It's getting in your kitchen right there.
Well, that ball was just taking off, running up and in, almost a self-defense swing. But he sawed him off pretty good. You know, you watch this, and if he doesn't make contact, he gets drilled. Watch this ball just take off and run right at him, and he's just trying to get some of it, and it just sawed him off.
Got him 1 ball, 2 strikes. Mike, when he was with Milwaukee, was hit by a pitch in the face. Tried to stay in the game. Another check on Edmonds. Woody Williams on deck if Matheny can extend it. That is pulled and foul. Not by much.
Yeah, Chipper Jones had to move him from the outfield. He's playing with a partially torn hamstring and had trouble with lateral movement in the outfield, so they moved him back into the infield to keep his bat in the lineup. And they say he's played the best third base he's ever played. He hasn't hit as much as they thought.
Matheny strikes out for the 2nd time tonight. Cardinals pick up the 1st run in this game. Scott Rowland from first to third on a base hit from Edmonds. Sets it up. He scores the 1st run in this game. Cardinals lead it midway through the 4th. Marcus Giles, leadoff man for Atlanta. Swing and a miss as Woody Williams is struck out 2. Braves have stranded a man, and Woody's only allowed 2 hits. One was to Giles. He was erased on a caught stealing back in the 1st on a double play. Into shallow right center field, Edmonds for the 1st out.
Danny, I'm gonna test your memory. Remember we were in Arlington, Texas, and Woody Williams saw his family, and you know the kids were in school and everything, and then they were going to go back to Houston, pack up, come to St. Louis. Woody said, I won't lose a game. He's 5-0 and the team is 10-0 since that time.
He's been terrific. Aflac trivia question tonight here from Turner Field. Who designed the playing field at Turner Field? The field itself. Abner Doubleday is my guess, Al. Here's J.D. Drew.
That's not sure how to take that question. I understand the answer.
It's one way to answer it, right?
Yeah, but I think it was like, who was it that designed it? Like in Houston, Minute Maid Park, they have Tal Smith's heel. They have some of the Crawford boxes and some of the nuances, but I don't know if that's what it is or not.
We're talking about the playing surface, apparently.
Oh, this must be entertaining. We're talking about the playing surface. I remember when I played for Atlanta Braves, they had a terrible pitching mound, and the grounds crew said they couldn't find any Georgia red clay. Everyone volunteered to dig up their backyard and bring in some.
That's a strike on J.D. 2-2. He didn't like it one bit.
Chuck Merriweather, the third base umpire, said he went around.
Not to say that J.D. Drew was never in shape while in St. Louis. He was in good shape. He's in great shape right now with Atlanta. Talked about his offseason being the most vigorous of his career.
J.D.'s brother, Tim, is a pitcher with the Atlanta Braves. They were the first brothers combinations to be #1 draft picks ever. And then now Stephen Dirt Drew was a #1 draft pick too, I think, of Arizona.
One out walk to J.D. Drew. Aflac trivia question. First walk, by the way, for Woody that he's handed out. Who designed the playing field at Turner Field? Greg Norman, the golfer, the Shark. That's your answer. We're talking about the playing surface. Here's Andruw Jones, or rather Chipper Jones, with one out, and J.D. Drew, the runner at first. Woody would love a double play.
Still trying to figure out what he designed. The grass, the composition of the dirt.
Don't ask me. He was here. He helped out. 1 ball, 1 strike. Chipper popped to second his first time up.
Nuxie, Phil Necro. Of course, you got a chance to meet Dale Murphy tonight.
MVP back in '82 and '83. To the opposite field, on the move, John Mabry makes the play in the corner. Back to first, J.D. With TBS going all over the place as a little kid, I used to watch Dale Murphy, and I just thought that guy was a terrific player, and he was. In the Braves Hall of Fame, and he is at the ballpark tonight.
He started as a catcher, developed a phobia because on a stolen base attempt one time, he drilled his pitcher, and then he had a phobia where he couldn't throw the ball, so then they tried him at different positions. And as big as he was, everyone, you would think couldn't be a first, and he couldn't do those things. And then he made him a Gold Glove center fielder.
It's amazing.
Many people considered him to be the best base runner of that time too.
You think third or first, or even in some cases, you're able to hide a guy in the outfield, but not center.
Yeah, and he played
center's
center.
the best athlete in many cases, along with the shortstop.
He is one class act.
Does he still live in the state of Georgia?
No, he lives in Utah.
Strike 1 on Johnny Estrada. You're talking about Houston before. What a lost season for them. 18.5 games out. And they have to wonder if Roger Clemens is coming back, or is he going to retire? And Andy Pettitte may have surgery on his elbow during the offseason. Jeff Kent probably on his way out.
And why did they not trade Carlos Beltran?
Roland will give it a chase. Jose Oquendo down there in the dugout helping him out. 0-2 the count. 2 outs.
Carlos is a free agent to be. His agent is Scott Boras. They said he is not going to re-sign with them.
What about Biggio? What happens with him too? Bagwell.
His contract's up.
Pujols threw it back to Woody, and Woody wasn't ready for it or lost it in the lights.
No, I think he lost it in the lights. That little lob toss, and there's a bank of lights into the right field corner. No outfield lights, just in the left and right field corners, but they're still not out in the outfield. Jim Edmonds says it's very dark.
1-2 the count. An amazing stat for the Cardinals' success this year, and this is game number 114, is that their starters have pitched in 113 of those 114 games. Only missed start was Jason Marquis. Game against Chicago, Danny Herron made a surprise start there for Marquis, and he could have gone in that game. It looks like Carpenter will miss the game on Sunday night. Danny Herron will pitch there, and Carpenter will not go on the DL. But that's an amazing run by this starting staff, the durability that they have had this year.
Well, that's just part of it. Injuries are part of it, but avoiding them is also. And, you know, the Atlanta Braves had the best pitching ERA in the major leagues. Cardinals are creeping up there. They're 0.15 of a point behind the Braves. I think they're in third.
A swing and a miss, a strikeout. They tag out Estrada. 3 strikeouts tonight for Woody as we head to the 5th. Cardinals lead it 1-0. Cardinals on top in the 5th. Woody Williams will lead things off for the Redbirds. He's part of our Hardy's hot pitch of the game.
Hey, you think it's a natural movement to throw a pitch above your head? And here's a curveball. Look at the torque on the elbow. It's pretty effective. You know, yellow hammer, 12-6, but you can imagine what that does. Abnormal movement throwing that pitch. Any pitch.
If the playoffs started tomorrow, you wonder about this rotation. If healthy, a Chris Carpenter, but you've got to give a look at a guy that's been there and performed well in postseason play, and that's Woody Williams. You wouldn't have said that 5-6 weeks ago. Finally healthy. Gutted through the first 6 weeks or so of the regular season. And the way that he has pitched, he warrants a look in game 1, game 2, game 3.
I don't think you have any problem with any of the guys, but definitely a true competitor like Woody.
0-2 the count. Crowd looking on. A lot of Cardinal fans here. No balls, 2 strikes.
Look at these two clubs. Everybody said the Cardinals were going to finish in third, distant third, because they didn't have pitching. Dave Duncan's getting the final laugh on that one. Atlanta Braves, well, their run of 12 straight division titles is over. They lost too much offense. They lost Maddox.
Sheffield.
Well, I mean, Lopez, Sheffield, lost everybody. That was Franco's first manager in the American League, Pat Corrales.
A swing and a miss. And a strikeout of Woody Williams. Let's get a look at Bobby Cox in there. Here's the heavy hitter Expedition now with up to $5,000 cash back or 0% APR for 60 months. Take the whole team to the game. Only at your Quality Ford stores. Your home run to Cardinal baseball fun.
Danny, how about if I told you these two managers have over 4,000 wins?
Oh, I know, it's incredible. Bobby Cox is closing in on 2,000.
I think he's 29 away. Tony is 2,082.
A ball to the leadoff man, Tony Womack.
And both of them are probably criticized frequently by their fans.
How could you criticize a guy that wins 13 straight division titles?
Well, because they only won one world championship.
A lot of people believe that they didn't win because the strike zone became a true strike zone, meaning that in postseason play, you didn't have the same strike zone that you saw during the regular season with guys that have to live on the outside corner or the inside corner, but not the middle of the plate. Maddox and Glavine and some of the others that they've had.
Well, that is a theory, and there is some validity to it.
Womack shoots it foul.
But you know what? I bet there were 28 other teams that wish they could be in that position to lose a World Series game. Or, you know, Bobby's just had a remarkable run. Keeps things very positive. He never ever criticizes a player in public, but yet he runs a tight ship.
2-2 pitch. Get the Mad Rocker with him. Leo Mazzoni, the pitching coach, asked him how many years you've been doing that in the dugout. He said, ever since I was a little kid. Just a habit I've always had.
I saw Leo as a double-A pitcher.
You can say what you want about having Glavine, Maddox, Smoltz, but doing it with guys like Bird and Ortiz, Wright, they've turned around. You've got to give Leo Mazzoni some credit. Jason Marquis wouldn't agree with this, but
well, you know, I mean, there's been a few. I mean, Jason Smith couldn't pitch for these guys. He's a pretty good pitcher too. Jason Marquis showing you he can pitch.
Line out to the first baseman. 2 down. Article in today's paper talking about Mazzoni and the relationship he had with Marquis, and it was not a good one. And Jason basically saying that he felt Mazzoni did not help him here in Atlanta, and that Dave Duncan took a different approach, kind of coddled him a little different way, and day one they met. They've had success. 2 outs. Here's Walker.
You know, Danny, there's truth in what Leo said. There's truth in what Marquis said, but you can't really evaluate the situation because a lot of times after a trade you look in the mirror, and the biggest thing is from day one Jason Marquis was told he was going to be a member of this rotation. Every 5 days, no matter what happens, you're going to get the ball and you're going to be back out there. He never had that in Atlanta. Is either going to be, you know, he didn't know from game to game whether he was going to stay in the rotation, go to the bullpen, or go to the minor leagues.
High fly ball into left. Charles Thomas is there. Larry Walker is 0 for 2. Atlanta, Georgia. Not hot Atlanta tonight. Ball not traveling all that well either. Rather cool night here in Atlanta.
You ever been out there in center field?
It's great. Our fans can look forward to something like that in St. Louis. Spacious concourses. Can't wait to see it. A little over a year away. Andrew Jones, the hitter, with the Cardinals leading. Broken bat. Renteria, long throw. It's the Braves center fielder for the first out. Jones 0 for 2. First baseman LaRoche, who's flied to left. And 0 for 1 will dig in.
Ray Williams done a nice job getting the first out of every inning. That's a good way to be successful. Utilize that good defense. He's only walked 1 on the night. He's given up 2 hits. Keep the ball in the ballpark. Don't walk anybody, and let the best defense in the National League win ball games for you.
Something they talked about with Danny Herron, pitching ahead early in the count. Be on a pitch count on Sunday. There's a lot to be said with that, even on a normal 5-day rotation. Get ahead.
Oh, sure.
Woody's done that tonight.
As a pitcher, you know, in watching these games, I wondered why I ever walked him, but why didn't I just throw quality pitches? Get ahead all the time. Throw your bat. There's TP. I told Terry Pendleton about
he's a former MVP.
What John Tudor said, and he was pumped. He was pumped when Tudor said, "Oh, my third baseman Terry Pendleton is as good as anybody."
A quick turf of Busch Stadium. He was fantastic over there at the hot corner.
Doing a nice job here as their hitting coach.
Was talking with him before the game. Managing is something that he would like to aspire to. 2-2 the count.
Keep things simple. Don't make things complicated.
He's played under a couple of great managers, Bobby Cox and Whitey Herzog. A 3-2 pitch. Fouled back. Tony La Russa talked about staying away from contract talks during our pregame show with Mike Shannon tonight.
I thought he brought up a very good point. You know, it's like you got to be careful what you say and how the players perceive it. But if you get several of the Cardinal players don't have contracts, and if all of a sudden you get to take care of your business and they're not being taken care of, that's not the message you want to send.
And it's pulled foul again. I think he's been more relaxed this year, even when the team was at 500. And now they're playing great baseball, but he's been really relaxed this year, more so than in the past that we've seen with him.
And I think it's because of the quality of players, not only the quality of talent, but also the quality of men. They don't need a lot of they can do with less, instruction or stepping in their way and getting on them and do different things. These guys handle themselves as professionals. And that's the one thing that John Schuerholz was talking about, and Bobby Cox. The one thing he insists upon his team is to act professional all the time. And these guys are good teammates. They're good in the clubhouse. They're good on the field.
I asked Tony if he felt fully accepted by the fans in St. Louis, and he said, I turned the corner in 2002. Passing of Darryl Kyle got the team to postseason play. He's doing his radio show. He said, I wish I would have done that from day number one.
I think that's been the biggest thing. As people see how, considerate he is and of their thoughts and their questions.
What's on tap brought to you by Budweiser. Grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time. We shoot the booth because you'll be here tomorrow with Josh Lewin, right?
Yeah, Josh Lewin and Cardinal baseball with the Braves, and maybe a preview of what's to come in postseason. This could be the Cardinals' first opponent.
Dodgers as well. We'll see them a bunch in the next couple of weeks. So a walk to LaRoche, and this is Thomas who pops it up. Shallow left. Edgar makes the play. 2 walks handed out by Woody. That's out number 2. And it brings in Paul Byrd. Back to Tony La Russa. He said there are 2 conditions for him staying. Number 1, acceptance of the players, which he feels he has. And number 2, the full endorsement of the ownership group. And obviously, as they have extended a contract offer to him, he's got that. But he does not want it to be a distraction.
And what he, and he saying, okay, it's one thing to have it in spring training, one thing to have it at the All-Star break. So I have it at the end of the season.
763 wins, 9 years now under his belt in St. Louis. 3rd all-time behind Red Shadys and Whitey Herzog.
At one time, he wanted to manage say like the Yankees or the Red Sox, but he has another goal, and he can do that with St. Louis, and that is to join his good friend Sparky Anderson as the only managers that have had a world championship team in the American and National League.
Sparky, the only one to do it. 1-1 pitch from Woody. Byrd slices this one. It is foul.
It's getting a little nippy.
It is. I'm shocked. Middle of August here in Atlanta. Perfect temperatures for Woody Williams and the pitchers tonight.
It was in the 50s this morning.
Byrd is 0 for 1. Hitting 133 on the year. Ball and 2 strikes. And a ground ball to Tony Womack. will settle and throw. The Braves have stranded 3 tonight. Big guns coming up. Pujols, Rowland, and Edmonds. Back to Turner Field on a gorgeous night for baseball. Glad you're with us. Al Brabowski, Dan McLaughlin with you. Cardinals will be on Big Fox tomorrow. Sunday night game as they wrap it up, this 3-game series, and back home to St. Louis. Be Pujols, Rowland, and Edmonds coming up for St. Louis.
Just talked to Rich Rieker, former St. Louisan and umpiring supervisor now. Just said that he was informed that he is in Orlando. His has an 80-foot tree that just went through his neighbor's bedroom.
Ball inside Albert Pujols. Bank of America higher standard. NL Road home run leaders. Pujols 20, Rowland with 20.
Isn't that nice to see right now?
Cardinals with a lead of 1-0. Not much offense for the Cardinals on this road trip.
Now they've run up against some pretty good pitchers, but you know they still found a way to win ball games, whatever it takes.
Outfield very deep for Pujols. Two balls and a strike on Albert Pujols. Scott Rowland on deck. The next from Bird. Two and two. Pujols tonight is singled back in the first and fly to deep center field. Albert drills this one into left center. Has a chance to leave the ballpark. It is gone. Home run for Pujols. 21 now on the road as he limps around the bases. 2-0 Cardinals. Albert with number 33 and RBI number 82. That's the most noticeable limp we've seen Pujols have all season long. Boy, he crushed it.
I would tell you, hit a home run and you can trot around with a little limp. So keep our higher standards going. We'll see the swing and just like really right there in the inner half, and he just hits to center field. Now Rowland will have to duplicate it. Keep his higher standards on top.
Swing and a miss by Scott Rowland. Struck out back in the first. Walked and scored in the fourth. 0-2 the count. Pujols now with 33 RBI home runs and 82 RBIs. Let's listen in to the home run from Sir Albert.
Sounded pretty good, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. Jones coming on. He'll make the play.
I bet you could hear the difference in the home run and then that one towards the end of the bat.
Right. Big time difference. Well, you just hope Pujols can stay healthy enough for the remainder of the season. Apparently it's not going to be a problem until after the season. He may need surgery, but watching him run around the bases, that was the most noticeable, the limps that we've seen that he's had this year. Here's Edmonds. 1 for 2 with a single. Strike one. Paul Konerko is the home run leader for the White Sox, along with A-Rod in the American League. Those two with 29. Albert closing in on the lead here in the National League. Albert with 33, and then you got Tomey and Dunn with 35.
There's Mark O'Neill. He wants to say happy birthday to his lovely wife, Stephanie Lee O'Neill. He said, I got a great day planned for you when we get back in town. I kind of said, well, what about the day? I mean, you're going to make it 24 hours, get the nighttime involved there. And he said, we can do that. What a good guy, Cardinal system trainer. Let's see. Should we talk about the new car he just bought her?
You're setting him up. We did that to Tommy earlier this year, our director. And Jane really loves her diamond bracelet.
Yeah, she can't even lift her wrist anymore. So heavy.
Two balls, two strikes on Edmonds. With one out, Cardinals leading 2-0. That'll carry to Jones in center. 2 outs. So Bird has got the last 2 after the home run from Albert Pujols, and it brings in Renteria. Only trails Tomey and Dunn in the home run department. Renteria with a base hit into left field. Already has an RBI tonight. Wide turnaround first. He'll stay right there. 2-out hit for Edgar. Let's take a listen to this off the bat of Edgar Renteria. Blink of an eye, the hot corner.
Hot corner, you know, it's a reactionary position. Basically, if you're a normal third baseman, you've got a step and a dive. If you're Scott Rowland, you got 3 steps and a dive.
2 outs, and now John Mabry. A pair of flyouts. He's 0 for 2. Personally, I like to see Edgar hitting in this spot in the order, and Walker in the 2 spot.
I do not.
And your reasoning?
Many different reasons. I think, well, I don't want Walker there. I mean, I want for the balance, I want Walker batting cleanup.
Only reason I don't like that, I like to see where Rowland is there.
Rowland is the one that wants to go to 5th.
Yep. Tony La Russa talking about this the other day, that he doesn't want any added pressure for Walker, at least early on, but that may change. Feels more pressure with
Let me ask you this.
the hitter in the cleanup spot.
Let me ask you this. If you started the season right now with this squad.
Larry Walker hits 4th.
Okay. And where does Edgar hit?
Probably 2nd.
Yes.
But
probably.
This isn't the 1st.
Well,
and I like the way that Rowland has played this year, and the way that he's hitting that cleanup spot. I don't want to take him out of that.
He is, but Scott Rowland's the one saying, I think I need to do it with the team. I like the balance of the team. One of the things they're talking about with Walker, well, late in the ball game, you know, he could clean up. Well, in one way, yeah, but so you get into a tight game in the 8th or 9th inning, and Womack gets on base. You can't bunt Larry Walker.
That's the only thing I don't like about him hitting 2nd. I said I like Renteria dropping down in the order. I didn't say anything about Walker. Walker hitting 2nd with the protection that he has right now in this lineup. You got to love it. Anybody that's hitting 2nd right now with those guys behind you, you're going to love it. I just wouldn't want to see Larry Walker bunting in the 2nd spot in the order.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You don't ask him, but you would ask somebody else.
The curveball is hit foul out of play. Their camera well over there, left side. John Mabry hitting over 300 coming into play tonight, 336.
And you have that Womack left, Renteria right.
And the reason I say I like Renteria drop down is clutch player. He's shown that 100 RBIs last year. Give him more opportunities to drive in runs. It's not bad when we're talking about Renteria either hitting 2nd or 6th, and Walker the same thing. Must be a pretty good lineup.
Oh, it is. Nice problem to have.
You got it.
John Mabry's, look what he's done.
Yeah. So I was saying before, you look at this team, don't overlook Mabry. Pitches outside, no throw, and Renteria has a stolen base.
His 14th, 14 out of 20. Johnny Estrada had no chance to even make a throw, so you see he just takes off and gets a great jump off the pitcher. And he without a throw, and he was standing up.
Mabry strikes out. He's over 3. Cardinals strand a man, but they pick up another run. It's Albert Pujols with home run number 33. Cardinals on top, 2-0. Tomorrow on Fox Channel 2, KTVI, the game of the week. Josh Lewin, Al Raboski will come your way at noon. Cards and Braves tomorrow on Fox. Cardinals lead this one by the score of 2-0. Bottom of the 6th. Woody's allowed just 2 hits. Top of the order for Kyle, Giles, and J.D. Drew. Kyle is 0 for 2. He's popped to third. Grounded out to first. Padres leading by a score of 13-3 over Cincinnati.
Oh, almost running out of the batter's box, showing drag bunt, and really not a bad thing. Maybe these Atlanta Braves saw Albert Pujols limping around the bag, try and catch one, get it by the pitcher, make Albert field it, see what he can do.
2-0 delivery. 2-1. So if San Diego wins tonight, they'll be tied with Chicago for the National League wild card. San Francisco starts play a game and a half out. Phillies are 3, Florida 5, Houston 5.5. Kyle trying to go that side, but Woody is there, pounces on it. Rafael Furcal is 0 for 3.
Couldn't get it by Woody. You know, Woody, who was a college shortstop, can field his position, very good athlete. But it was, you know, you got Womack, who's playing back there. It's a very tough shovel pass for him, or Albert Pujols has to field it and try and race to the bag. So it's not a bad attempt, but he just never got it by Woody.
Into right. Walker going back makes the play on the track. Giles is 1 for 3. 2 quick outs, and it brings in JD. Over in the American League, Boston leading the wild card by a game over Anaheim. Texas 2 back, Cleveland 3.5. How about the Cleveland Indians still hanging in there? One of the biggest surprises in all of baseball, along with Texas. Texas 2.5 games back of Oakland in the West. Foul ball. JD struck out swinging in the first, walked in the fourth. Line for Woody, 5 2/3, 2 hits allowed, pair of walks and 3 strikeouts. Struck out Drew, Andrew Jones, and Johnny Estrada.
Thrown 77 pitches, 26 balls, 51 strikes.
A 1 pitch to J.D. Drew. This is just inside. Good pitch, though, by Woody.
We haven't seen them really work him over with the off-speed stuff. They just pitched to him.
That's something that the changeup that we saw that he really struggled with in his Cardinal career.
Yeah, but to JD's credit, and they say that he's healthy and he's hitting the ball to all fields now, so he must be covering that changeup a lot better.
Broken bat here.
It's like a cutter. And he gets in on him, breaks the bat. I think that's the second one tonight.
1-2 the count on the Braves right fielder, J.D. Drew. Scott Rowland well off the line at third base. Outfield is straight away.
He tried to pull everything.
Swing and a miss. Second time that Drew is struck out. 4 on the night for Woody. 7th inning. Matheny, Woody, Womack coming up. Kevin Avery is tonight's merchandise prize winner in the Hyundai Long Drive Inning Sweepstakes. If the Cardinals hit a home run here in the 7th, Kevin qualifies for the Hyundai Santa Fe drawing in September. To register, visit a St. Louis area Hyundai dealer. Matheny, Woody Williams, Tony Womack due up for St. Louis. Home run by Albert Pujols back in the 6th. Sacrifice fly from Edgar Renteria. Cardinals lead it 2-0. Man on deck has been outstanding tonight. Woody Williams. Woody's allowed just 2 hits. Cardinals have 5 on the night. Matheny's had a tough night. Struck out twice this evening. And Paul Byrd is pitching very well. Tommy John surgery last July. Mitchell Page saying he's gone from more of a power pitcher to doing what he's done here tonight. Changing speeds, painting the corners, and gets Matheny to fly out to center. Mike is over 3. Mitchell Page, he's got to be an awfully happy man with this lineup and the way that it has come together here in this season.
Well, he is, but you know, he knows that every day he's got his work cut out, working with these guys, trying to find a little game plan, what to look for from each pitcher.
What he looks at is strike. Here's my game plan. Skip, what's the lineup? Looks pretty good. Go get 'em, boys. Best lineup in baseball. Give him a few notes and say, have at it. Activity now in the Atlanta bullpen. 0-2 the count on Woody Williams.
Paul Byrd's over 100 pitches now. 105.
2 outs. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the St. Louis Cardinals LLC and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals LLC. Here's Tony Womack. Lined out in the first baseman last time up. 1 for 3 tonight. Cardinals have not been hitting on this road trip, but like you said, Al, finding ways to win, and that's what championship teams will do. And winning on the road. Coming from behind, which they've done a bunch this season. Dramatic wins. They've had a lot of those as well.
Road record's better than their home record.
Womack with a base hit up the middle.
38 wins, 20 games over 500 on the road for the Cardinals. Best road record in baseball.
Now Larry Walker has had a very good on base percentage in his first week with the Cardinals, as we see a fluid swing there from Tony Womack right on the baseball. Mike Helling cueing that one up, our producer. But do you get the feeling Womack has been, rather Walker has been pressing just a little bit?
I think he's, I think it's only natural. I mean, remember Sky Rowland said he came to the club here in Atlanta, never had a hit in the series. You try and do a little too much, even when you're 37 years of age. You've won 3 batting titles and an MVP. And by the way, he's got 500+ RBI seasons. So don't answer back with Renteria's got 1.
I think you're reading into my statement. What I said was,
I know.
Oh no, I liked Edgar in the 6th spot. I didn't mention anything about Larry Walker, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
We just have to figure out a different place for Larry to hit.
And you know what? I mean, I'm never one that gets upset about lineups and stuff.
Well, here's the beauty
after
of
the first time around, what are you talking about?
The beauty of it is this lineup's so good it doesn't matter in some respects.
Sure.
Another move and a check on Tony Womack. 1 ball, 1 strike with 2 outs.
Paul Byrd has seen the Cardinals steal a couple bases tonight, so now you got a base stealer out there and wants to take a little life out of his legs.
Just outside to Larry Walker. 2-1.
Mike Riley, the home plate umpire and also crew chief, been pretty consistent. Haven't had any squabbles, have we?
Nope. Those kind of pitches, he's been right on the mark. Those are tough to call for an umpire. Right on the black outside part of the plate. But if you're good, it's easy to do. And most of these guys at this level are the best. They better be. Walker on 2-1. Into deep right field. Is it fair? Stay fair. It is just foul. That was crushed. And a high fly ball from Larry Walker.
Yeah, Danny, we've seen his bat speed a little slow or something like this, but this was all of a sudden. This is Larry Walker we remember. All of a sudden turning on a pitch and maybe a little too much.
Because even on the home run yesterday, looked like he was hitting behind the ball on a pitch that he takes to the opposite field. Almost was trying to catch up with it and couldn't.
Yeah, I think it was. You know, you always want to stay behind the ball, but he was, as you said, I think a better explanation was behind the ball, trying to catch up to it.
Start the runner here on 2-2. Good speedy runner. Tony Womack may have been leaning on that pitch.
And the more that pitcher worries about the base stealer, and now he steps off as one of the bat boys was trying to retrieve some litter, paper blown on the field. But the more you split the concentration of that pitcher worrying about a base runner, the more chance he's going to make a mistake to the guy at the plate.
38,943 tonight. Bird from the stretch, 2 outs and a 2-2 pitch. Womack definitely going on this next delivery. Get a ball in the gap and he could score, even though the outfield is playing deep.
Could be his last pitch.
Pujols on deck. He is homered tonight. Come on, Larry. 3-2 pitch. Walker to the opposite field. Well hit. That ball is gone. Home run for Larry Walker. 4-0 St. Louis. He missed it down the right field line. He doesn't miss that one. His second as a Cardinal. 4-0 St. Louis.
There you see the plate coverage, and you see that all of a sudden now he's starting to heat it up. On base percentage that we're worried about out of the second spot is still at 500.
Will you let that go?
But now you see the ball out away from him and he attacks it. Cardinals doubled their lead, and that was the last pitch for Paul Bird.
Not a bad outing though at all. 7 hits allowed. He gives up though 2 home runs in the last 2 innings. That 2-run shot to Walker, his 8th on the year. 24 RBIs now on the season for the Cardinal right fielder. And he also allowed a solo home run to Pujols back in the 6th and a sacrifice fly to Renteria in the 4th. Cardinals knock out Bird. Pujols coming up. 4-0. Cardinals top of the 7th. 2-run, 2-out home run for Larry Walker. This is our Bank of America higher standard, and Walker pulls this pitch down the right field line. High towering shot, but then on this pitch just goes with it. Plate coverage you talked about, Al.
That plate coverage, see that ball going out away from him and didn't try to pull it, went with it, and strong enough, muscles it over the left field wall.
Call to the bullpen brought to you by the Renaissance Grand Hotel. Kevin Grabowski, 6'5", 230-pound right-hander, into the ball game for Atlanta.
Kevin's got pretty good stuff, but he's the kind of guy that the Cardinals love to face. As you see his numbers on the year, opponents are batting .263 against him, but he's a guy that will challenge hitters, and the Cardinal hitters love to be challenged.
2-0 pitch. 3-0 on Pujols. Scott Rowland on deck. Pujols hit that home run. His 33rd on the year. 3rd in the National League in home runs, and trotted around the bases with a limp. Very noticeable. On 3-0, they'll turn him loose, but it's a ball.
He has that heel problem. I would think Barry Weinberg knows a little bit about that type of injury because Mark McGwire had it in his career.
Well, Pujols had an MRI on it a little over a week ago. It's his left heel, and it's been bothering him for about 6 weeks now.
How do you pronounce it? Plantar fascia?
Your guess
Good
is
enough?
good. Yeah.
But say it's like a hot poker on the heel of your foot.
2 outs. Pujols is at first. Rolling for Cowell. And the Cardinals pick up 2 more runs. They knock out Bird on 1 swing of the bat from Larry Walker. Bottom of the 7th here in Atlanta. Let's go pitch by pitch. And this feature brought to you by Chevrolet.
I'll see how Woody Williams goes inside. Tantalizes him, lets him foul it. Then he starts going the, breaking balls. Gets him again. But there he goes away. Remember the home run to Larry Walker. A little different pitch. But JD, he had him in, got him thinking about pulling the ball instead of the plate coverage like Larry Walker and going with a pitch. He tried to pull it. Both strikeouts were that same pitch, up and away.
Woody has struck out 4 on the night. This is Chipper Jones.
Big part of Woody's success is retiring the first batter each inning.
Curveball misses, low and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Woody Williams has allowed just 2 hits tonight. He's been superb. What a key this guy could be down the stretch. We talked about how this trade has worked out for both teams. Ray King for the Cardinals in their bullpen, along with Marquis, who will start tomorrow. And of course, J.D. Drew leads the Braves in home runs and RBIs. I mean, Woody is just painting the corners tonight.
Well, he's pitching. And Woody, we've always said, can't live in the middle of the plate. He's got to go up and down, in and out, change speeds. Get a hitter to expand his zone. Go after a pitch that's borderline. That probably was a ball, but Chipper Jones wanted a little piece of it.
A key in this ball game so far has been J.D. Drew, Chipper Jones, Estrada, and Andrew Jones. 3, 4, 5, and 6 in the order. 0 for 8 collectively. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Estrada on deck, and then Andrew Jones.
Didn't want the curveball, fastball in. Pitch count is only 87. It's a cool night, so that keeps the pitcher refreshed. But we'll just kind of see if the ball starts getting up on Woody a little bit. Another fastball.
And Jones loses it into deep right field, and that ball is gone. Chipper goes deep. He's now 3 RBIs away from 1,000 in his career. Braves on the board. It's 4-1 St. Louis. That was crushed.
Well, it was. And John Schuholt said that Chipper hasn't hit a ball hard in quite a while. We can't make that statement anymore. And it was an error in location. I mean, you're getting a little tired. Some of the balls are getting up, missing location, throws a fastball in, and if you miss and you miss out over the plate, you always run the risk of this happening.
Opposite field.
Now the ball up a little bit.
Mabry was turned around at first. Makes the play for the first out. And it brings in Andrew Jones, who is struck out and grounded out to short.
Atlanta Braves scored 4 runs last night on 3 home runs. All their scoring, and then here tonight, you see where that was supposed to be a fastball in, missed location, and Chipper didn't miss it.
Curveball.
You saw he had the glove on. He had the glove on the ground, and he hung it. Just bad enough. He got an out.
Thank you very much. Into center. 2 outs.
It's little things you just started seeing that some of the pitches are missing location, and Woody can't do that. And that one, as I said, just was bad enough that it became an effective pitch.
Now brings in the Braves first baseman Adam LaRoche with 2 outs and nobody on. 4-1 Cardinals. And a strike from Woody. Ahead in the count, a key tonight.
There, he got on top of that curveball.
Breaking ball has been very sharp tonight. Some of the best we've seen all year from Woody. Line shot. Renteria is placed perfectly out there. We've got 7 in the books. Edmonds, Edgar, Mabry coming up. Calling our producer, Lindsay Polite, pregame show producer. Brian McCann with us, and Doug Stanton as well on graphics. Our Bud Sports crew. Our call to the bullpen brought to you by the Renaissance Grand Hotel, Antonio Alfonseca.
Another guy that'll come right after you. Appearing the 53rd time. 5 wins and 9 decisions. ERA at 3.31.
Four to 1 Cardinals, top of the 8th. Edmonds, the first hitter. 1 for 3 tonight. Popped to third, fly to center, and singled. That single for Edmonds was back in the 4th. Alfonseca, the former Cub, former Marlin. Jimmy pulls it foul. What gets interesting for the Cardinals is how they approach their postseason roster and how they approach what they do with September call-ups, trying to keep guys sharp going into postseason play. And it's not a situation where you are looking at youngsters for next year or the year after. You want to make sure your team stays sharp.
You don't want to bring up too many distractions.
Exactly.
You've got to bring up Rick Ankiel and get a read on him to see if he's part of your future plans. A guy like So Taguchi obviously comes back. You don't need 12 pitchers on your roster. But how do you find ample playing time and also rest for your core players?
Still have not heard word about Ray Langford. Kiko Calero still trying to come back. Sore arm. 2-1 pitch. Up and away to Edmonds. Trying to add some insurance here. 4-1 Cardinals. Redbirds with runs in the 4th, 6th, and a 2-run shot off the bat of Larry Walker in the 7th. 2 home runs in this game for the Cardinals. Lone run for Atlanta. Chipper Jones, a solo home run. Full count on Edmonds. Last thing that Alfonseca wants to do is walk Jim Edmonds here, start playing the 8th. And he did. Coming up August 22nd at 1:15, the Pirates will be in town. It is Midwest Dairy and the Cardinals teaming up to bring you Mike Matheny Growth Poster Day. All kids 15 and under with a paid admission receive a poster that features a life-sized Mike Matheny. Pirates in town, 1:15, first pitch at the ballpark. Grabowski goes a third of an inning in relief of Paul Byrd. Edgar takes a strike. Edgar in this situation can sacrifice or try to bunt for a hit.
No, he's an RBI guy.
Try to get Edmonds to second. I'm done talking about the lineup. With you at least.
He got 1 sacrifice fly, so he has an RBI tonight, also a base hit. Got the Cardinals on the scoreboard.
How about that? When things are going well, they go well like that. Edmonds stops at second base. A chopper off the bat of Renteria. First 2 have reached, and it brings in John Mabry. Second hit for Edgar.
See Chipper Jones playing in a little bit and has no chance as that ball almost bounces in front of the plate and almost to the outfield grass.
So now it's John Mabry. Do you sacrifice here? Got Matheny on deck, then the pitcher's spot. Then you make a opportunity for Bobby Cox to make a decision. Matheny will dig in with second and third. The sacrifice is good. Just little things that John Mabry does.
Very fundamentally schooled as John, and he said he can do a lot of little things to help his teammates out. See the appreciation from Cardinal bench.
Infield drawn in now for Mike Matheny, and the Cardinals have the pitcher spot due up next, so that's Cedeno on the on-deck circle. What do you do here with Matheny? He's had a tough night. Fly to center, struck out twice.
Well, you just hope with the infield drawn in that he can just punch a ball through on the right side.
Foul tip off the catcher. We saw this before with Estrada. Remember that?
Yeah.
That day game, the getaway day.
I asked Johnny about that, and I said, Johnny, have you ever, or he had his arm was bandaged, and I said, oh yeah, I got a foul ball off my leg too, and I said, yeah, remember the getaway day? He said that was ridiculous. Jeff Porter, their trainer, who's out there right now, he said, you know, the final time in the 9th inning, I didn't even go out there. He had already made about 8 appearances. Johnny, whatever you did, Cardinals are going to get you. He's taking a beating when already in 4 games against the Cardinals.
Well, Matheny's been there, so he'll step out of the box, give Estrada a little time to catch his breath. Think about a squeeze play here.
You could think about it.
0-1 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Switch hitting. Roger Cedeno on deck.
Fonseca throws hard. You know, Mike, I don't want to get Edmonds in any kind of collision. There's always a possibility of doing it. But I think in many ways you would love to have him have the chance to swing away and have Tony feel like and have confidence that you can get the job done.
2-1. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 8th, Atlanta will have Charles Thomas, pitcher spot, and then the top of the order. So good outing by Woody Williams. His night looks to be through. The 2-1 pitch. Matheny, 2 for a cow and a play at the plate. Edmonds will get in the hot box, and he's tagged out. Hit the ball hard, but right at the shortstop for Cow.
Going on contact, so Jimmy has to come home and just hit well, but right at Furcal, he fields it, and Jimmy stayed in there. Allows Renteria to go to third base. So watch, as soon as contact is made, Jim's coming here, but it's right at the shortstop. That's why you play in, and then he'll stay in there long enough as Renteria goes to third.
So Woody goes 7 innings. Cedeno will be the pinch hitter for Woody Williams. Cedeno has been very good as a pinch hitter for the Cardinals, 8 for 24. Made just 26 starts on the year, going from an everyday role to platoon player here with St. Louis. But Tony La Russa keeps these guys busy all season long. Keeps them sharp. 2-out hit would be nice here. 1-0 pitch. 2-0. Womack on deck. 3-0. Inning started with a walk to Edmonds. Base hit by Renteria. Sacrificed by Mabry. Play at the plate. Off the bat of Mike Matheny with Edmonds running from third base. And now Cedeno on 3-0. And he walked him on 4 straight. Bases loaded. Crowd a bit restless.
Are you surprised that there's not more people here?
No, and I say it because I think these fans have become
so
spoiled, complacent with this team.
I would have thought that, you know, to see the Cardinals match up against them, they would have enjoyed coming out and seeing this one.
Used to be Cardinal country down here. Big time.
One time the Cardinals had a minor league team here.
So the bases are loaded for Womack. Singleton scored in the 7th. Looks at a strike on the outside corner. Tony is grounded to third, double to right field, line to first, and single to center.
18 pitches thrown, 10 of them are balls.
Right-hander throwing for the Braves in their bullpen. Tony, ground ball to second. This should do it. Cardinals strand, the bases loaded. Bottom of the 8th coming up from Atlanta. It's 4-1 St. Louis.
The Cardinals have a 4-1 lead. They've out hit the Braves 8-3. We talked about Johnny Estrada on getaway day in St. Louis on May the 13th. What a tough game he had. Trips himself, but now he starts getting the beat right off the mask. Gets a knee. I mean, he just got beat up all day long.
Now it's bordering on absurd what's happening on poor Johnny Estrada. I love his reactions though afterwards. He just slumps over, just like, I can't believe this is happening. And it happened again off the bat of Mike Matheny tonight. Julian Tavares, our call to the bullpen, brought to you by the Renaissance Grand Hotel. This has been a terrific addition to the Cardinals bullpen. Pitches per appearance. You see that it's not pitched since Tuesday. This has been a win machine for the Cardinals last couple of weeks.
It's allowed just 1 run and 5 hits in 15 games, 12 2/3 innings since July the 7th. And he's gone 3-1 with a 0.71 ERA during that time.
Julio Franco is on deck. This is Charles Thomas, your left fielder. Then we'll see Furcal. Big Cardinal fan watching tonight with Dad is Taylor Hagan. Just get off the phone with Taylor and Wayne Hagan. Feeling much better, by the way. He'll be with us Monday night in St. Louis.
That's good news.
1-2 is the count. Bob Ramsey and Mike Shannon working on the radio side for this weekend. The flamboyant Julian Tavares. Good pitch. And a strikeout of Thomas, who's 1 for 3. Coming up after the game, we've got the Midwest Sports Report. MSR coming your way. Full recap of this ball game. Jackson's big night. Soldiers and Sluggers, our final installment, which has been a terrific series put together by David Picorni and the gang back at Fox. Steven Jackson, of course, is the Rams running back. And the Hungo Award. This guy has turned out to be a fan favorite, Julio Franco. On August 23rd, he will turn 46.
Tell you what, he's starting to put his name on the record books. Just past High Trainer and Mickey Mantle.
And a ground ball. Gobbled up there by Renteria. 2 down. Woody Williams, 7 innings. 1 run. Only 3 hits. He walked 2 and struck out 4. Now it's Tavares getting 2 outs here in the 8th. We're going to see Furcal, and then the 9th will be set up for Izzy. Also on the Midwest Sports Report, I'll have a visit with Joe Strauss and J.D. Drew coming up after the game. Furcal has been quiet tonight. Rolling. 2 steps in on the grass at third. Pujols even with the bag at first. He tried to bunt his way on past Woody Williams and in that area towards Pujols because they noticed how he was running. So Pujols cheating in at first base. Giles is on deck. Cardinals will at least have to go through Giles, Drew, and Chipper Jones before this one is over. Hopefully that's going to be it.
Just keep the bases clear. Make it a lot easier. Definitely keep this guy off base.
2-0 the count. Cardinals in the ninth. We'll have Walker, Pujols, and Scott Rowland. If you're just joining us, Larry Walker, a 2-run home run. Pujols with his 33rd and an RBI for Renteria tonight. That's all the scoring. It's 4-1 Cardinals. 2 strikes now and for Kyle. 2-2. You make a statement in a series like this, don't you, for potential postseason opponent?
You do, and I mean, doesn't mean anything, but psychologically it means a lot.
Womack to his right. Braves go 1-2-3. They have just 3 hits on the night. We move to the ninth. Cardinals on top 4-1. Turner Field in Atlanta. Cardinals leading 4-1. If they hold on, they improve to 75-39. Still middle of August and not even at 40 losses yet. An amazing year continues. Juan Cruz, former Cub. I always liked this guy. Hard throwing right-hander, but he never found a home with Chicago, whether it be in their rotation or bullpen. Here's Walker, 96 miles an hour.
Yeah, there's a lot to like from Juan Cruz. You have to like his arm, and they say he's been a good addition to their bullpen.
Larry Walker is our connection of the night. Our SBC Yahoo DSL connection. As he had a 2-run home run back in the 7th. A couple pitches before this one, he hit a high towering shot down the right field line, but this time he just goes to the opposite field. His second Cardinal home run. The 2-1. Think about Walker too, Al. These lefties in this lineup with Edmonds and Walker. You're going to face the Red Sox. If you face the Yankees, you see Chicago right-handed pitching. And a power left-handed bat in Walker. That could be a key postseason play.
Well, it gives a little balance to the lineup, as you said. And one more big bat that you put a fear in the pitching staff.
The 3-2 pitch. Ball 4 to Larry Walker. MSR Midwest Sports Report is coming up after the game. Ryan Burr is standing by with an update.
Thanks, guys. Coming up on the Busch Light Midwest Sports Report, we'll talk about Steven Jackson's big debut last night, our Johnny Max Team of the Week, and we honor Enos Slaughter as we wrap up our Soldiers and Sluggers series. But now back to Dan and Al, guys.
Pujols has been on base 3 times with a home run, a walk, and a single. He's flied to deep center. Check on Walker over there at first base. He has stolen another base tonight. Not a bad first week for Larry Walker. Made a really fine defensive play in right field 2 nights ago.
And it also was a statement from ownership telling the players that, we're going to do everything we can to help you out.
I mean, I just can't think of any other teams in baseball with comparable lineups to what the Cardinals can put out there every single day. Bullpen the same way. I'll take the Cardinals bullpen. And starting rotation could be the key too. I like what we saw to Woody Williams tonight. 7 innings, 1 run, 3 hits, 2 walks, struck out 4.
Sometimes you don't want to count out the old pros.
That's what I was saying before. You think about game 1, game 2 very easily. You feel comfortable going with a Woody Williams. Pujols strikes out. 97 miles an hour from Juan Cruz. And now it's rolling.
Albert has struck out quite a bit of late, something he did not do at all. And the movement on that pitch, not only the velocity, but the movement there.
Just 36 strikeouts for Pujols on the year.
It's 10. He struck out in 6 straight games and 10 in the last 11 games.
That's what's unusual.
Right.
Rolling 0 for 3. Two RBIs away from the century mark. There goes the runner. Throw down to second. Walker is safe. How about Larry Walker, the age of 37?
Great second place hitter.
Stealing bases.
2 tonight, 6 on the year, and what, 4 as a Cardinal already?
I think Giles just asked him. He said, "You think you were out?" He said, "No, I was safe."
He was safe. Marcus might need to stand on the bag, second base bag, and ask Larry to get off it, just so they can talk to each other.
No balls, and a strike on third baseman Scott Rowland. One swing of the bat, he's at the century mark for RBIs. Sitting on 98. 1-2. Izzy is warming up in the Cardinal bullpen.
Scott Rowland was concerned about a home that he has off the Florida coast, around the Bradenton area. Izzy warming up.
Room in left center field with the left fielder Charles Thomas deep again. A 2-2 pitch to Scott Rowland.
Cruz just tries to rear back, and not a lot of finesse. It's just, here it is, the express.
Well, he knows where it's going.
Well, I think that's a fairly accurate statement. Breaking ball that misses.
2 walks in the inning. First and second, and the batter will be Edmonds. Jim has been on base twice tonight with a walk and a single. Bottom of the ninth, Giles, Drew, and Chipper Jones for Atlanta. So a couple more runs would be nice here. Renteria on deck.
You know, I said that what happens in head-to-head competition during the season really doesn't mean much in postseason. It means more to just to talk about, but you can make a statement. Remember, they're the ones saying they have the best pitchers. And if you go out there and out-pitch them, that makes the bigger statement. They know the Cardinals have a great hitting team. They know they have great defense. But if they see the Cardinal pitchers stay with them, then it kind of takes a little luster off the Atlanta Braves. And either way, if these two clubs meet, they'll both be ready for it.
Edmonds into center. Jones going back. He's near the wall, and he's got it. Jimmy just missed it. Walker tagging up. If that ball gets over the wall or off the wall, he's going to score easily. So he goes back to the bag and tags up.
Yeah, you've got a Gold Glove center fielder out there, so get back there. It's either going to be a home run or it's going to be, caught. And come over in advance because, Cruz wouldn't be very odd for him to throw a wild pitch.
Edmonds looked like he hit that with just one arm. Still got it out to deep center. Blew it by Renteria. Edgar on the night. Struck out swinging in the second. Sac fly to right in the fourth. Single through the hole at short in the sixth, and single to left in the eighth. 4-1 Cardinals. Top of the ninth. Runners at the corners. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mentioned that the Cubs have lost today at Wrigley Field.
They pitch everybody away, so they shade their center fielder always to the opposite field. Left fielder gives a lot of the left field line, thinking that 1, the balls are not going to be inside, and 2, you're not going to pull it.
Just missed inside. 3-1. Mabry on deck.
Wanted that breaking ball, but it's kind of going around the plate on the inside part. Edgar should get a pretty good pitch to rip.
Yep. For the 6th place hitter in this lineup. It's fouled back into the seats. Full count now on Renteria.
In that RBI spot.
Number 2 man in the lineup standing at third, and Larry Walker.
He's on base guy.
Stolen base threat over there.
2 of them tonight.
That's right. Edgar pops it up right side. Giles has it. He's due up first for the Braves. Izzy coming in. 4-1 Cardinals. Game pitch by pitch coverage, MLB TV and MLB.com game day audio. STLCardinals.com, where baseball is always on. Few finals in baseball. The Cubs lose 8-1 to Los Angeles. Cleveland beat Minnesota 8-2. Colorado over Pittsburgh 9-3, and Baltimore blanked Toronto 4-0. Larry Walker with a 2-run home run tonight. Save on Tuesday and Wednesday for Isringhausen. And what happens here on Friday night? 4-1 Cardinals.
3-run lead, 3 outs to get. He's got 31 saves. His career high is 34 with Oakland.
Something that Izzy was talking to me about the other day was his mechanics have been a little out of whack. He's been nursing a sore hip, throwing across his body, so his placement with the baseball has not been as accurate that we've seen the last couple of years, and the velocity has been down because of that. That's in his estimation.
Well, and it makes perfect sense because you get your velocity from your lower legs and your flexibility of your wrist. You're reaching back, but you're spinning off, trying to compensate for a hip. Also affects your control a little bit, but that was right down the middle.
And Mike Matheny was saying that's why they've been going with the cutter so much too. Velocity down. 1 for 3 is Giles. I'd like to see him use his curveball a little bit more.
It's interesting. It seems like Molina calls the curveball more than Mike Matheny, but Mike has been calling it more often too.
Back to Izzy. From his knees, gets up, makes the throw over to Pujols for the first out at the bottom of the ninth. So Giles is done, 1 for 4. And now it's J.D. Drew with Chipper Jones to follow. J.D. has struck out twice and walked.
Kind of interesting to see what pitch selection they use on J.D. See if they do use that curveball. Or the cutter coming in on him. Sinker.
First pitch to J.D. Drew. This is low and in. Isringhausen with a 1.95 ERA in his last 37 appearances.
You might have missed that, but it registered 97 on our gun and the stadium gun.
Two and 0.
I don't buy it, but here's the cutter. Another cutter.
2-1 pitch to Drew. Now 2-2.
Cutter's a variation of the old-fashioned slider. The slider's now become the slurve, but it's just really just a small break. Looks like fastball, almost thrown with the fastball motion, and just a little late breaking action.
Curveball, see you later. Drew knew it. That was flat out nasty. Play of the game brought to you by Bud Light. Fresh, smooth reel. It's all here. We go back. Paul Bird against Albert Pujols. The smack of that baseball into center. And Pujols with our play of the game brought to you by Bud Light with home run number 33. 2 outs, and here's Chipper. He's homered tonight as well. Well, that was a good curveball, though, to J.D.
Absolutely. And on top of that, it just bottom fell out of it.
Be nice to see Izzy have a 1-2-3 here. Here's what we're talking about, the curveball to J.D. Drew.
Watch J.D. He just gets absolutely fooled by this curveball. Top of the shoulders, down to the knees.
And he knew it.
See you later. Just threw a good curveball to Chipper Jones to get the second strike. Come back with it again. Didn't want it. Fastball in. Now the cutter. Now a changeup. Now a curveball. Now a fastball.
Now time is called.
And now Mike's going, okay, we'll start all over. Cutter.
0-2 pitch. Chipper just got a piece and fouled it back to stay alive. Keep this game going.
He's only thrown 11 pitches at this point, so that could be a real plus if he can get out of here with 12, 13. Be ready for tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon action. Curveball. Good pitch, doesn't offer.
1-2 the count.
Cutter. Back door.
Cardinals about hit the Braves 8-3. Lead it 4-1. Trying to close it out is Izzy.
Cutter, throw me a strike.
2-2. Pop foul out of play.
Fastball away.
Chipper to second. This should do it. Cardinals win it. Number 75 on the year. They're 75-39. Woody gets it. He's now 9-6. Walker a 2-run blast in this game. Cardinals are rolling. 4-1 our final. For Al, I'm Dan and our Bud Sports crew. Midwest Sports Report is coming up.